In the weekly wrap-up video that I did yesterday called What the Hell Really Happened This Week, I got a very interesting comment from a Mr. Ryan Combs who said, quote, "You should make a What the F Really Happened Today every day." I guess he's referring to a daily recap video, and yeah, why the hell not? And then I got a comment from a Mr. Eric McMee that said I'm going bald and that I'm worn out. Screw you, Eric McMee. I'm gonna do this video anyway, and in today's video, we are gonna be talking about Angela Merkel getting drunk in her watershed moment, breaking the alliance between the United States and Germany, the latest updates on North Korea, a new space weapon Star Wars program, and all the important news that we find today that you should know that, of course, you won't see on the BoobTube. Today is May 29th, 2017, Memorial Day, a day where we pay respects to American servicemen and women all around the world in the U.S. military, and they're literally everywhere. If you look at a map of the U.S. bases all around the world, there's a lot of them all around the world. But I wanted to share a message that was made by John Gage, a U.S. Marine Corps war vet, who made a very important video about today.
And let me get to the whole war thing. A lot of wars we fought were bullshit. Many people died for absolutely no reason. My friends died for no reason. A lot of you veterans, your friends died for no reason. In the Korean War, Vietnam War, World War I, World War II. Pick a fucking war. 99% of the wars that we fought in the name of democracy in America have been utter bullshit.
Of course, he goes on and gives more context to what he's saying, and I think it's a very important video to share, especially with people celebrating and having barbecues today, and people not really realizing the bigger meaning and truth behind today. So I'm going to share this video in the description below, but moving on, we're getting incredible photos out of Venezuela with the 57th day of mass protests in that country, which looks like it won't end anytime soon, but will lead to a major turning point in that South American country. Just a fascinating photo that I wanted to share with you guys with the reality of the situation on the ground that's happening there right now as we are speaking. And in other news today, Angela Merkel got hammered yesterday and in an era-defining moment declared that Germany can no longer rely on America. She said, and I quote, "The times in which we could completely depend on others are on the way out," and quote, "We have to fight for our own destiny." Which makes me ask, who had your destiny beforehand and why did you give it away? Finally, you're taking some responsibility for yourself. Of course, this comes on the heels of the latest meeting between the German Chancellor Angela Merkel and, of course, U.S. President Donald Trump, which a U.S. State Department official said recently that he acted like a drunk tourist on a European trip, which led to Angela Merkel making these recent comments. And, of course, I don't mean to downplay this, but this is a watershed moment. This is a very important moment in history where Germany officially is saying that they don't want to be aligned and are not aligned with the United States. A huge geopolitical shift that will have global ramifications and will play a very important role in the future of Europe. Angela Merkel is also mad at Donald Trump for failing to endorse the Paris Agreement on climate change, and with these deteriorating relationships, it will be interesting to see how it will play out, especially with Russia in the background right around Europe. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about this latest move? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Let me know in the comments section below. In other news today, we're also finding out that the United States lost $1 billion worth of arms and equipment in Iraq and Kuwait. Gee, I wonder where those munitions and arms could have gone. They couldn't have just disappeared, especially when we have Russian, Syrian, and Iraqi forces defeating ISIS and finding them with ISIS. But don't listen to me, I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist that's been attacked and labeled as fake news by the mainstream media. You know, the same mainstream media like the New York Times that admitted that the arms shipped to Saudi Arabia end up in the hands of hardline Islamic jihadists. Of course, this on the heels of a $460 billion weapons deal that Donald Trump has just signed with Saudi Arabia. Gee, I wonder where those weapons will go. And by the way, did you know that $460 billion would actually end world hunger for 15 years? But no, we gotta have more defense spending that somehow ends up in the very hands of the people we're fighting against. And then examples go on and on, like the U.S. State Department Toyota trucks that somehow ISIS got their hands on. And with the support of billions of dollars and support from Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States, surprise, surprise, now ISIS is fighting in the Philippines, where they previously captured Canadian citizens and executed them and are now in control of a territory in the south of Philippines, making the president declare martial law in that country. And with these radical Islamic terrorist groups expanding in Libya and Syria and now the Philippines, please tell me more about Putin and Russia. Oh yeah, thank you, John McCain, you blubbering, despotic, bloodthirsty war criminal who literally came out today and said that Putin is a bigger threat than ISIS itself. Great job, John. You're really doing us a service. And of course, the Trump administration is listening to him as they're expanding their space weapons program, well, because you know, Russia and China. As a tax-paying American citizen, I couldn't see my money used better than on a frickin' space weapon Star Wars program. Because yeah, Russia. And oh yeah, because of the threat of radical Islamic terrorism in the West and the United States that was financed by the United States and still is being continued by the United States, we may get all of our laptops banned from all flights inside and out of the US countryside. Yeah, that's called freedom. And in response, the Russians are saying, you know what, screw it, we're gonna go to the North Pole, where they're building a nuclear base and also seeking to claim territory for oil and gas reserves. Russia and Iran also signed a trade deal today that would also kick the petrodollar in the butt, making more economic moves against the United States. And now in other dumbass apocalyptic news, we have the North Koreans, who have just staged their third missile test in 3 weeks, sending a ballistic missile into Japan's economic zone. I don't know why they call it economic zone. It literally landed in the Japanese Sea. But regardless, the Japanese are even going as far as to threaten a military strike on North Korea, saying that they are even prepared to send preemptive strikes with ballistic missiles at any time. The United States is sending in a third carrier strike group near North Korea, and yeah, that sounds great. So yeah, this is Luke Gadowski of WeAreChange.org with your daily dose of happy, optimistic, positive news of the day, which of course is supported by you, the viewer, on WeAreChange.org/donate. And I personally wanted to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for donating, because if it wasn't for you participating in independent media, we would not be able to be here. So stay tuned, subscribe. We're going to be having live video coverage from Bilderberg. We're going to be doing live Q&As. I'm probably going to go somewhere really dangerous and do something really stupid like I always do. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it.